Live from Los Angeles, welcome Good Morning LaLa. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessamine Moyer. This is Good Morning LaLa Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also available on Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app.
And it's hashtag Friday Feels. We're talking about it's complicated.
Oh, yes.
It is definitely complicated. Where are we going with this whole relationship in our culture?
Yes.
It's a very, very interesting topic.
I've stopped calling them relationships. I now call them situationships because that's what they are. It's always a situation, different scenario.
That's good. Either way, we're all creating a life we love on this hashtag Friday Feels, and we're so excited to welcome our very special guest this morning. Hello, everyone back in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, the D'Ambrosio twins are in the house. Good morning, Bianca.
Hi, good morning.
Congratulations on the new spin-off series, YA. We are so excited to know all about it later in the show. But first we want to know, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
Well, I wake up, I go to brush my teeth, and I brush my hair because my hair is always wild in the morning. It's like a lion. So I go to brush my hair, and I look over my phone to see if I got any messages, and I get ready for school.
The lion look is fierce, though.
Yeah.
It could be a strong look.
I pulled it off.
That's beautiful.
And what about you, Kiara? How do you start your day?
I like to wake up, have a warm cup of coffee, and get ready on my schoolwork because school is important.
Yes.
Yes.
They're starting younger and younger on coffee.
Get those grades.
I know. It's true. It's true. I didn't have my first cup of coffee until I think I was like 23.
Yeah, well.
Really?
You're
I
dating
know. I was a late
yourself.
bloomer, though.
You know, though, I wonder if your love of coffee started on set. I mean, the two of you started working when you were, what, 3 on Young and the Restless?
Yeah, I didn't start having really a lot of coffee until I was at least 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hi.
Unapologetic, babe. I got you. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Nicole Moore is in the house. She is the CEO and founder of the Love Works Method. Good morning.
Good morning.
Who's this lovely little baby you got with you today?
This is my son, Luke. Want to say hi?
What's up, buddy?
That smile says it all. So, Nicole, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
Well, I wake up, I try and meditate if I can. If I have time before getting this guy, I will look at a little app like the Secret app or something just to get a little positivity in the day. And then I go straight to coffee. And then I get this guy. And we have a lot of fun. We play in the morning. And I start my day with just so much joy because of this guy.
Love that hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Maybe
So
the
cute.
best hair we've had on the show right there. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Gina
Thank
Swire
you.
is in the house. We've got self-love expert over there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us. So tell us, how does a self-love expert like you start her day?
Oh, no coffee for me. I definitely start my day with asking the question, what would connect me to love today? So whatever that is, I like to just give myself what feels good.
Love that. That's why you're the manifesting queen.
Yes.
Well,
And a bit of vision. Vision is good. So before I open my eyes, I like to run through things that are on my vision board and add anything else mentally, that might be brewing from my dreams, and just let it all come into flow.
I love it. No coffee brewing, just the mind's brewing.
Yes.
I brew simultaneously.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm working on that, just like our spiritual and intuitive medicine expert, Olivia. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
We're so grateful to have you here. So what's your morning routine? How do you start your day?
So for me, I try to practice presence, meaning that I set my alarm for half an hour before I have to get up. I know you all are giving me the side eye, but it works. And then I give myself a full 2 minutes when I open my eyes before I reach for my phone, before I start thinking, gosh, I've got to get this done, or, oh gosh, what about this bill? I really give myself a full 2-minute head start on the day. And so part of this tool for transformation is that it's just a little window you can carve out that really gives you sort of getting ahead of the 8 ball on all of the stresses that the day can bring. And
2
then
minutes,
I
but that's
totally
it.
have coffee. So much coffee.
That's awesome. Love that. Like we're cut from the same cloth.
Well, thank you all so much for being with us today. We look forward to continuing the conversation later in the show.
Oh my gosh, what's Friday?
Happy Friday.
Short week.
I know.
What are you guys doing all weekend?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. You tell us. What are we doing this weekend?
I have no idea. I'm recovering yesterday from going to a soul cycle spinning class.
Oh, those are intense.
I was so humble, you guys. I was in there and all these people are like up on their bikes and I was like, it was like a scene out of the movie.
Yeah.
I was cracking up.
Yeah.
I could barely pedal for the whole 45
my
minutes. I
gosh.
was like,
They're super intense.
They are.
I was like, wow, it was like a whole thing.
And depending on the location, it's full of celebrities often. I've been to the one in West Hollywood. And
Yeah, I don't
pretty
know,
intense.
but yeah, I mean,
Was
it
fun?
was. I mean, I was there, of course, so
Yeah, that's all we need to know.
The first time I went to a spin class, I just stood outside looking in, and I thought, I don't know if I dare, because it was full of celebrities and these beautiful people who looked like they were really gonna get it.
Yeah.
And I thought, I can't keep up. And the teacher saw me, and he goes, come in, get on that bike. I was like, I don't really know. And he's like, no excuses. I got in there, I could barely keep up. I was crying. It was a whole thing, but great workout.
Great workout.
yeah.
I know they had originally put me right in the center front row, and I went, no, that's probably not a good idea. I need to be kind
If
of
I
off
need to
the
dip out, I
side."
don't want to be seen.
Yeah,
Exactly. I took the bike by the door.
Yeah. I love
Completely.
that.
And then I'm like, how do I get my feet in? How do I
Yeah.
get my feet out? Like, it's a whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's always the way I felt about church. I always wanted to sit in the very, very back, just in case it got really dark and fire and brimstone-y, I could dip out.
That's
God.
I wasn't at Soul Cycle or at church last night. I was at St. John's over in Beverly Hills for a really cool community project, part of the XX, and it was the head designer, couture of St. John's came together for a red carpet ready style event with Cindy Cowan, and there was a group of 50 very like-minded businesswomen all getting ready for the next red carpet season.
Oh, how much fun is that? That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Wow, I wasn't out and about. I did an Instagram live story with my sister.
Oh, wow.
She's
How'd
having
it
a
go?
retreat September 19th through the 21st in Pittsburgh called the I Am Conference. So that was dope. It's amazing just to talk to your sister and realize that you're having a deep conversation.
Oh,
It's
I
amazing.
love that. That's
So, yeah,
amazing.
It must be in your blood. What is the conference all about?
The conference is mostly about taking time out to exhale and just tap into an internal, to source, to God, whatever it is that makes you happy inside. So it's really just about, being present.
It's probably the most important thing to manifest the
agree.
life you love,
I
right?
agree,
It's so
absolutely.
important. I love
Absolutely.
that. So today is Friday Feels. We talk about dating, love, and relationship. And you guys, I have a story. I've been holding this story all week since Bali, and so I was laughing at our culture because I was riding to the airport on the way out of Bali, and this young, beautiful 24-year-old man was driving me, and I thought, well, he's the same age as my son. Isn't this crazy, And he was so happy, and I was like, so do you ever get sad? And he goes, well, I get sad when I leave my family, if I have to go away or they have to go away. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet, And I'm like, well, tell me a little bit about your life. What do you do, And he goes, well, I just work and I'm with my family. I have ceremony 3 times a day. I'm like, well, what do you eat? What does it look like? He goes, well, I have rice and vegetables and sometimes chicken. I'm like, okay, well, do you have snacks? Do you have fruit? He goes, well, I have 1 piece of fruit usually on Sunday. And I'm like,
Sunday.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what about relationship, And he goes, well, I live with my family. We get married at 25. I've been with my girlfriend for 9 years, and we'll be getting married next year.
Very structured.
I was like, wow, this is
Wow.
like completely different than
Yeah.
how we live. And I started busting up because I started having this visualization of people in America swiping for their next option,
Yeah.
basically. And I was thinking, okay, so what's the takeaway in all this?
The takeaway for me is I thought for sure he was going to ask you for your number because that happens every time.
In America, it would have happened, not there, yeah, right?
That's a great question. What is the takeaway?
I mean, I feel like we're not, I think that a lot of us want to pretend like we're going to go back to a traditional relationship, and I think it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We have over 50% divorce rate. Only 15% of people in marriages consider themselves happy half the time. And I think that we're going to go into something completely new.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what that is, and it's going to be maybe a segment will be monogamous, a segment will be polyamorous, and a segment we're going to go into places we've never even experienced in relationship.
Yeah. What do you think, Jess?
Well, I almost beg to differ because what's old is new again. I was reading an article on theguardian.com, and it really highlighted the point that there's been more change because of this digital age and all our cell phones in the past 20 years than there has been in the past 100 years when it came to dating relationships. However, most experts do believe that has totally plateaued. 39% of heterosexual relationships are meeting online, but where do we go from here? There's already a bazillion apps, we're already swiping. There really is no kind of evolution of that's going to, unless it's an evolution of relationship itself.
So interesting. I just hope that people continue looking for happiness in the other person. Because clearly that's worked. It's working.
It works.
And I feel like
That always works,
that's
yeah.
always a recipe for happiness. Absolutely. And at the same time, I mean, I strongly feel that friendships are the highest form of love because they're the purest. There's not attachment. There's not
Totally.
extreme attachment there. There's no possessiveness there. It's just, and so for me, friendship is the highest form. And
For
I stay
sure.
open to everything else. but I love the idea that people are just tuning into that.
So you're into friendships with benefits.
With
Just
benefits.
kidding. I feel like for me, I don't look at where it's going. I look at what is my practice in it. And my practice is to see the beauty in every person. And if that evolves into a friendship, if that evolves into a life partner, if that evolves whatever, my only job is to see the beauty in each person.
I love that. One of my favorite Rumi quotes is, wherever you are, whatever you do, be in love. And I think that you can experience a feeling or a sensation of love no matter who you're with or where you're at, right? Because it's more about you.
I love you.
I love you.
guys.
I love you.
And we love you.
So we want to know, where do you think relationships going? And I think that we all have to get real of who we are and the habits that we build. And if you are building the habit of being someone who complains or looks at people's flaws,
Oh my gosh, totally.
then that's what's reflecting back to you.
And they talk
know?
about that all the time, in the positive psychology world. They really say that the greatest thing you could possibly do is just focus on the best in the other person, the best of yourself. And if the other person does the same thing, you'll have a happy relationship because you're focused on the happy aspects. But you can't have a happy relationship or a loving relationship if you're focused on unhappy or unloving aspects within yourself or the other person. It's impossible.
Amen.
Right? I think there should be only one rule of relationship: never makes one wrong. That's
Right.
it.
If
That's
that
it.
was the one rule.
If you only did that one thing, it would all work out.
And that means you could still love them from a distance. It doesn't mean you have to be with them.
No, definitely not.
But
for
yeah,
sure.
I love that.
So let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to our guests about what they've created for the lives they love. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm GMLA, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
I'm so excited to be here on the couch with all you amazing people.
Yeah.
I'm just in complete awe. Thank you.
Happy to be here. And for those who don't know what goes on, this is a big old, there's a lot going on here. You do this every day.
Live.
God bless you guys. I mean, people, there's a lot going on.
Thank you for having me. This is an awesome studio.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I feel that, actually. I can feel that.
How exciting, Motivation Monday. And the guests this morning have been incredible.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you.
And we have Rachel Boston, who is in The Last Bridesmaid on Hallmark. It actually is dropping tomorrow, the 22nd, right?
It is. Tomorrow night's our premiere.
Woo! How
Congratulations. I am so excited to welcome Jason and Ashley Waller to the show. Congratulations on the new beginnings. We're so excited for the premiere on MTV tonight.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you.
The book is actually being shipped out today. It published this week.
Wow,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
You guys are
Super
the
cool.
first show that I've actually done talking about the book.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
Our friends at Universal Pictures have a special delivery for us this morning from a tethered himself.
Ooh.
Have you seen the film Us by Academy Award
my
winner
gosh.
Jordan Peele?
You know, I'm sitting here next to you guys, and it's just like, this is a powerful moment for me. Like, you know, I'm humbled by it, because it's like I'm sharing this movie with you guys, and you know, it's moving for me.
What are you most grateful for today?
I am so grateful to be here and to have the opportunity to be with all these wonderful, badass boss babes and with all of you. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to share the positive messages out in the world, because I think the world really needs it right now.
What we've done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh,
And I thought,
nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born. Now,
Show the camera.
up to you to choose the winner. Is it Annie? Is it Haley?
That's why I like this show. You know, years ago I did the Dinah Show, which is Dinah Shore, and it was a daytime show. And it was kind of like this. And it was just like very up, and it was all positive stuff. They didn't bring negative stuff to the audience. And that's why I feel with this show. It's very relaxed. You know, it's very professional, but it's quite a bit of fun.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch. Binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
First TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
that will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning, LaLa. And on Friday Feels, it's all about love, and it's the most important thing to do self-love for sure. So Gina Swire is in the house. She mentors women, helps them find their own self-love, and helps them manifest a life that they love, right?
That's right.
So how are you? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, yeah. Well, I would love to come on here and say I'm amazing. That's so high vibe, but
We'll say that for you. We'll say it for you.
Yeah, I've been going through an interesting time, shall we say. I've definitely been practicing what I preach, for sure.
Well, so we want to hear this, because I know you just went to Burning Man.
Yeah.
And let's get real, like tangible. So how do you practice Burning Man in the middle of, I'm sure there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of beauty.
Yeah.
Like, what's the practice when you're in the thick of it? Like,
wow. I have been really flexing the self-love, everything. I'm like, oh, give me all those practices. Yeah, so everything. I've been practicing everything. I've been going into my tent, creating my little safe space, and just going through my gratitudes and like just connecting back in with myself and how powerful and the creator, and just knowing that it's all welcome. You know, it's easy to love yourself when everything's going well, but what about when everything's crashing down, and what about in the chaos?
And what about when everything's going well and you still don't love yourself?
Yeah.
Take us back to your journey to discovering self-love. I know you were a very successful plus-size model as well.
Yeah.
Take us back.
Well, I definitely didn't used to have a lot of self-love. I was struggling with self-esteem. I was not accepting myself. I really didn't like my body. I used to wish that I was a petite brunette. What a waste. I used to say to my petite brunette friends, like, if I was you, then I would be happy. Yeah, so I struggled, and the more sort of great my career became, the more I was struggling inside. And so it came to a huge crash, and I had a quarter-life crisis, quit everything I could quit, I quit. I quit drinking and partying and my work. I quit living in New York and all my old friends, and I went vegan and started just doing a lot of yoga. And in that time, in that spaciousness, that's when I was on the floor begging for a sign many times, which I highly recommend if anyone's watching and is struggling, like get on the floor. And the sign that I got was very simple, like, you don't need to change anything. There's nothing to change, just be you. And this self-love vibe just came out very strongly. And that's what I've been following ever since, and that's what I teach.
Yeah.
Just love that. I think one of the challenges that most people face is that, you know, there are certain things usually that they feel okay about, but then there's these aspects that just feel so incredibly unlovable, you know, and so I know people have different sort of approaches to that. Some folks say, well, just try to love that which is unlovable, and other folks say, well, keep your eyes and mind off of what's unlovable. What worked for you?
Ooh, yeah, I think for me, it's focusing on what's going well. You know, focus on the good parts. There's always going to be things going on, even when you're vibing really high. Like a few weeks ago when I was here, I was like, yeah, I'm alive. I'm just feeling that kind of contrast. But then on the way here, I was just like, there's so much beauty. Like even the way that I ended up being on this show was all manifested through the vision board. And I was just like focusing on the magic.
I love that. There's a great metaphor that Abraham Hicks uses. I know we talked a little bit about Abraham Hicks, and they would always say, if there's like a pothole on Main Street and you just always focus on the pothole, then the whole city seems to suck.
Yeah.
But if you take your eyes off the pothole and focus on everything else, when you feel better and you come back to the pothole, it doesn't nearly look as painful and as undesirable as you thought it was. And so that's kind of your experience there. Though.
Absolutely.
So what do you do? You know, say a woman comes to you and she's dealing with depression, maybe. You know, what modalities do you use? How do you bring her through that course?
I use kind of like it is a 12-step self-love transformation. It's something that I kind of just dreamt up one day, and it works. So I take them first of all back and try to figure out what it is that's preventing them from loving themselves. So often it's things from childhood trauma or like just a perspective on something. And we'll go through all of that, and of course, like belief systems, the BS. We go into that a little bit and start to remove anything that's blocking them. And then I'm really into vision and manifesting. So creating a really strong vision of firstly like how they want to feel, not what they want to create, but how they want to feel. And then creating the action steps to get there. So it's a process.
I love that, yeah. The other day I was doing a meditation and I was feeling a little alone, just missing my son a little bit and feeling like, and I always get to this place where I realize I'm like, it's almost like I'm talking to myself as my own best friend. And when I can get back to that, there's like a magic in that, like, and nurturing myself. Do you feel like that? Do you do kind of some also like parent-child work or future self or things like that? I'm sure you have so many modalities. I mean, living in Bali too, you live in Bali.
Yeah.
Like you're surrounded by masters of, people that are so many spiritual advanced people. What's that like living there for you?
Oh, well, the first time I ever landed in Bali, even before the plane hit the runway, I was like, oh, I'm home. I've arrived, I'm here. So yeah, I love it there. Everyone there is in the vibe. Even if they're not on the same vibe, they get your vibe, which coming from England wasn't something that I'd experienced before. And the community and the nature and the food and the lushness and just every event, very wholesome. It's all about grounding and coming back to yourself and coming back to love, and everyone's very huggy and touchy. And if your love language is touch, you should totally go to Bali. The Ubudian, I live in Ubud, and the Ubud hug is very much like 3 breaths at least, minimum.
You don't look like you live in Bali, though, I have to say.
Really?
No, because you just like you do look like a model,
Thank you.
And there's beautiful people in Bali, but it's very much more of like a hippie-esque kind of feel to it for sure.
I'm a chameleon. I can do that.
Okay, go.
Yeah, I've got my glad rags on today for you, but
She is in LaLa Land.
Right?
Yes.
And apparently you can also write. So you've got a book coming out. You want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, very excited about this one. Firstly, because I never, ever, ever, ever thought that I would write a book, ever. Because at school, I decided that I was useless at reading and writing, and I was not going to do it ever again. And so it was only a few years ago, and I was at an event in Bali, and someone said, in your wildest dreams, what would you create in your life? And the first thing that came to my mind was a book. And so I was like, well, I can't ignore that. Went home, put it on my vision board, and the next morning, I woke up to an email from a guru who said he had this 30-day book bestseller book challenge course. So I signed up and I basically wrote a book in 30 days. It wasn't finished. It took me 2 years to finish it, but I wrote a book and I'm still quite amazed that I wrote it, to be honest. But yeah, it's happening.
That's incredible.
Love that.
Congratulations. And the title?
It's called P.S. I Love Me.
Oh.
Well, we love you. Please tell everyone where we can find and follow you and when your book's going to be out.
You can find me on everything at my name, Gina Swire, Instagram, Facebook. You can email me if you like.
Thanks so much. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jezza Moyer, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
That will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. And on Friday, we love to talk about creating a life we love. And that takes spirituality, it takes intuitive medicine, and Olivia Audra, she's with us today. You've become an expert in this. Tell us about your journey.
So for me, the journey to self-discovery began at a really young age. So I diagnosed my first case of lung cancer at 3 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was at a baby shower and it just sort of came out of my mouth. And so then from there, pursued medicine, had an experience which I wrote about in my book, my first book, Align, where I actually had a spirit appear to me in the shower. And it was very clearly an individual who was going through cancer treatment. And it said, "Does this look like healing to you?" And before I could even rationalize that, the same voice said, "No, this is dying." And so in that moment, I thought, I've got to do something different. This just does not resonate with my soul in the way that we're treating disease. So I used my intuition and I coupled that with my medical degree in natural medicine. And I began treating people from an emotion-based perspective.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting journey. And also finding out when I was 30 years old, I had an autoimmune illness that was untreatable. And then treating myself through that so that today I am completely free of that autoimmune illness.
So I think that the body intelligence is becoming more and more well known in the world, and people recognize that there's an intelligence that's speaking through intuitively. So how can somebody tap into that intuition? How can they know what's going on for themselves?
Well, what I tell everyone that I work with, whether it's recreating themselves after a divorce, a disease, or a trauma, is that you are your own best source of information. Period. So you can go to a physician, you can go to a counselor, and these are all really great tools, but ultimately nothing trumps the inner intuitive wisdom that we all have. And so for me, when I teach my workshops on developing your intuition and my classes, what I tell people is that it's really less about doing something and more about doing nothing. It's really about peeling back the layers and returning to that 0 point of positivity within ourselves. Because there is a voice, it's just about quieting the outside world.
It's such a great point, and I love the 0 point of positivity.
Yeah.
And I think part of the challenge for most people is that we mistake intuition for fear, or fear for intuition. And so how can a person sort of discern the difference, when they're trying to practice this nothingness, this no mind or no thought sort of experience of 0 point positivity? How can they discern the difference? Is it a feeling thing? Is it a thinking thing? Is it something different?
Well, there's a couple of rules that you can live by. So the first is that, I never teach people in meditation when I do meditation workshops that it's about having no thought. It's about having an awareness of your thoughts, because we're human and we're always going to be having a sensory experience. The room is hot, the room is cold, and we want to move ourselves as far as we can away from that. But ultimately, we're existing in this reality. So just being aware of them, and if a thought that, oh my gosh, did I feed the cat, comes in, that's not going to be the focus of your meditation, but you can sort of just notice it and then move it along. The other tool that I really give my clients is that I encourage them to uncover what their narrative is. So we all have this personal story in our lives. Most of us are far more familiar with a negative narrative, meaning I know what I don't want. And we think that that's a really powerful tool for creating our life, when actually the opposite is true. So if you can identify the narrative that you are sending out to the universe, which is essentially what you're asking for, then you can look at that and have a really honest conversation with yourself about, am I focused more on what I don't want? I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be single. I don't want to be, fat. Yeah, exactly. Or can I shift that focus to, I want to be abundant, I want to be healthy, or even better, I am healthy, I am abundant, because whatever we communicate to the universe will be so.
Powerful. Tell us about your tattoo. I see destiny.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting tattoo. So this I got really early on, and I have a few of them. And I've often gotten, when I'm doing a presentation and midway through I take off my blazer, I actually have an arm sleeve as well. And they go, we were not expecting that in this presentation. So the destiny tattoo is really just a reminder for me that every time I look down at my hand, that I'm creating my own destiny, and that I'm helping to create the destiny of others. So fate is what you're given, and destiny is how you shape it. Yeah, so that's just my constant reminder. And then I have some Tibetan Sanskrit that says Satchidananda, which means truth is the pathway to consciousness, is the pathway to bliss.
Wow. And using that pathway, you've also created an apothecary.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I was going around and talking about intuitive medicine, which is something that's become such a big thing, and thanks to people like Anthony Williams, medical medium, he's really put on the forefront, how can we shift our bodies, not by reading textbooks, by just listening to what is presenting and sort of listening to what the spirit is trying to guide us to. And so I decided that I wanted to really have a hand in being able to give people the best supplements possible. So I created my brand, which is Innate Apothecary. And essentially what that is it's all products that I've handpicked that I use for people that I work with, that I use on my own children. And I think that there's been a lot of confusion in natural health supplements. Is this turmeric okay? Is this probiotic better? And so on my Instagram weekly, I do a segment called Live Better. And basically I highlight a product and I talk about how it can benefit you in 5 minutes or less, because I want people to get the information and be able to apply it in their life.
Love that. Well, great work. Obviously, I think that the merging of the Western world and the Eastern medicines coming together where we can really have the best system around. So thank you so much for all your work. So tell people where they can find and follow you and get your products.
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is www.innateapothecary.com. You can find me on Instagram at I am Olivia Audrey and on Facebook at Olivia Audrey Dr. Liv.
Nice.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back tomorrow. Good morning, La La Land. It is hashtag National Sour Candy Day. We want to thank our special friends from Pucker Powder for treating us today.
Hey, what is this?
What is that?
I don't know. It's like a.
Leave it to the DIY experts.
A sugar hookah. This looks like what I would fill up my car with, the tires. You know, the air thing.
For those of you watching who haven't met Tanya Mimi, she is an Emmy-nominated host.
Oh my God, you're so
Southwest House, Homer Colton family. She's a DIY expert and she's always up for a challenge. So why not give her this sour? Here we go, Tanya.
Oh, come on. Shut up.
Woo! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Come on. God.
She's up for it.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La-La. On Friday Fields, it's all about dating, love, and relationships. And we have Nicole Moore, who is basically a love coach. She has Love Works podcast.
Yes.
And you say in your bio that you help women create true love with top 1% man. What is the 1% man? We want to know.
Sitting right here.
Exactly. So it's an amazing, he's an amazing man. So somebody who is spiritual, somebody who is grounded, somebody who is centered, somebody who is on purpose in their lives, somebody who has, the outside aspects, they can be handsome, but really good within and really able to love. A lot of people are not able to love. A lot of people are afraid of love. A top 1% man, he is ready.
So how do we find that top 1% man? After like first date, second date, those conversations don't come on date 1 and 2. You know, we find out on paper, okay, he checks this box, this box, this box, but to have that deep, meaningful conversation can be tricky. So how do we get straight to the point? We got the rest.
Well, first of all, you got to check in with your intuition because your intuition always knows. We get into bad relationships because we ignore the red flags. It's not that we don't see them, we just ignore them.
Yeah, they hit me in the face and I'm like, no, that wasn't one.
I'm seeing stars now, it's fine.
It's interesting though, because sometimes I think, is that a red flag or am I just not giving this person a chance because they're not traditionally the person I date, they're not really my type, complete opposite of my ex, so maybe I think, oh, this isn't a red flag, they're just different.
So there's a difference between, some people have their checklist, right? Like, this is all the things I need in a man. But I tell my clients, look at what's coming from your heart and look what's coming from your ego. Because if you're picking a partner to satisfy your ego, I think I need a rich man because then I'll be safe financially, for instance. It's different than, I have a certain lifestyle that I love. I have a vision that I love. And I think this kind of partner would help me fulfill my vision, you know? So I think it's important to figure out why you want the things that you want in a partner, and are they coming from your heart and not from your little checklist in your head.
But what about the culture? I mean, our culture, especially in Los Angeles, it's not exactly designed for long-term relationships, right? So how much, is it your environment versus, because I think I see a lot of my girlfriends and they're beating themselves up like something's wrong with me, and I go, you're just in kind of a culture that's not really made for a relationship. Like, where do you tell your clients, like, okay, if they want that top 1% man, should they be looking in a different environment?
I think you can meet them anywhere. So I'm a big fan of manifesting the love that you want, meaning you draw it in by how you're being. So I agree. Most people think dating sucks, right? It sucks to get rejected. It sucks to get ghosted. It sucks to really like a guy and then he turns out to be really crappy. But you do have control over your dating experience. Now, here's the thing that where most people get it wrong. So anything else, like if you went to a buffet and you wanted to eat a salad, you wouldn't sit there and go, there's pasta here, oh my God. Like, you wouldn't get mad at all the other things that are there. You would just go look for what you want to eat. With dating, we get mad when we see things that we don't want, like a bunch of crappy guys in a row, and we don't focus on what we want. So if you're going to get a top 1% man, you have to mentally focus on the prize, on the goal, and let go of all the guys that you're seeing that are not it.
Focus on the salad.
Yeah. Exactly. Who cares if there's pasta?
What advice do you have then on letting go of that person if they're not that 1% man or woman? I mean, what's the best way to politely and peacefully say?
Ghost, just
thank
ghost.
you.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't ghost. I would just say, listen, I took the time to check within, and I really don't think we're a match. Because if you say I took the time to check within, you're showing that person you really did consider them, you really did care, and nobody can argue with that. I checked within, we're not a match.
Like, you're a scumbag. I'm never going out with you again.
No.
So I know there's another conversation out there, which is like, if you want to attract and be or meet the 1% man, then you will also probably need to be the 1% woman.
Yes,
So
yes,
what's
yes.
that?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so 1% woman, first of all, emotionally fit. So a lot of women, I really love you ladies, and I used to be this. I used to not be able to sleep at night if a guy didn't text me back. Wow. And I was so anxious, and I would like break bottles over tables when I got mad at a guy. It was bad. But a top 1% woman, she's emotionally fit. She's not throwing her triggers all over men. She has the ability to feel within and say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna speak my mind if you do something that upsets me, but I'm not gonna throw my triggers all over you. A top 1% woman is confident. She knows her value. She knows what she's bringing to the table. She's not looking to a man to validate her. So I think it's emotionally fit, grounded in love, not showing up in fear. And also loving men. If you're dating men or women, you have to love the opposite sex or the desired partners. You have to actually love, not just try and get love for yourself.
So true. I love all this. It's so true. I mean,
What was the biggest change you made in your personal life to secure that 1% man?
Okay, well, when I started my love coaching business, I was in a relationship that I thought was my soulmate. He was not. He ended up being an emotionally abusive, we'll just say on the narcissistic spectrum. When that happened, I realized, why am I doing this? I was already coaching people at the time. People were married because of me at that time, and I had this relationship that went really poorly. And I realized the reason I attracted in that relationship was because of what I call my inner little girl within. So my childhood, I didn't have happy love programming. I had the opposite. And I realized if I don't heal within, I'm going to keep attracting the same thing on the outside. So healing within got me a love that is pretty much everything I ever dreamed of.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. And congratulations on getting that 1% love. Please tell everyone where they can find, follow, and work with you.
You can find me at loveworksmethod.com and at Instagram at NicoleMooreLove.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm Jasmine Woyeg, host of Good Morning La La Land on EverTalk TV. As a little girl with big dreams, I couldn't stop talking. I turned that into a career at premieres, at red carpets, and even a talk show. And recently, I had my aha moment. I was hosting a live event. A woman who represented a national cancer support community gently pulled me aside from the glitz and the glam, and she thanked me for mentioning their program on my show. Because of those few words that I had spoke on air earlier that week, one of our viewers battling cancer reached out and got the financial and emotional support she so desperately needed. I'm so grateful to have experienced that moment, a moment that truly reflects how much conversation and community matters. We need more, of what matters. It is my passionate purpose to create content and lead a conversation that will ignite the light in my community and empower them to live their best lives, starting today. I'm Jez Moyer, and I'm a host on EverTalk TV. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. And on this hashtag Friday Feels, we are so excited to welcome the D'Ambrosio twins to the show. Bianca, Kiara, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Your name has been splashed all over the headlines. We've seen you on every red carpet lately. Everyone's talking YA, your new spin-off series from the Bay. Congratulations. Tell us all about it.
You do well, so it is a spin-off of The Bay, which is nominated for a couple Emmys. So it takes 15. Not just a couple, 15.
We've had them all on the show. They're amazing.
They are amazing people. And shout out to Gregory and Wendy. Hi. And
Crystal.
Hi. But YA takes place with two twins moving from the East Coast to the West Coast after some tragedy happens, and they dive into the world of drama in high school and real life problems that teens face with today.
Wow.
What are some of those problems that are faced with today?
Can't really spill a lot, but social media is a really big part of it. And I don't want to spoil too much, but just keep your eyes out for that.
But the two of you have been major activists in anti-bullying. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, we were bullied when we were younger, when we were at school. So we decided, why don't we just write a song from our heart about anti-bullying? So it's called Let Your Light Shine. It came out at least, oh my gosh, 5-6 years ago. We were really, really young, but it's built from the heart. And ever since then, we've been really big anti-bullying activists. We were on the board for Buddha Bullying. So we are very big about stop bullying, just be kind to one another.
Love that. Important. So what are we seeing right here?
Oh, this is our music video called Young and Free with Hayden Summerall. Yeah, this was a really fun day. You mean you shot our music video?
Love this. So, girls, you've been likened to the modern day Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. How do you feel about this? What's this journey been like for you? I mean, you've been acting since you were 3 years old, Young and the Restless. That's a major breakout role. You've always been in the spotlight.
Yeah, well, we love soap operas, and we give thanks to soap operas for starting our passion for acting. And we've just been working hard and constantly auditioning, working hard on our craft, taking lessons. We never stop. Even when we feel like nothing's happening, we always keep going, because part of this business is to never give up. And I know it might sound cliche, but it's not. Trust me. It is not. It is so true. Never give up, because you never know when the perfect role is going to come around the corner.
So how do you two support each other? Is there something maybe that you've learned from her or that you lean on her for, and vice versa?
She's super strong. Like in conversations, she's like very like open-minded. Well, I'm more open-minded. Sorry, wrong thing. You were more like, I have my facts and my points, and that's what I've learned, is that like to just be strong in everything you do. That's what I learned from you.
Thanks.
What did you learn from me?
Well,
nothing.
Well, she helps me a lot with like acting. We always give each other some pointers. She teaches me how to stay grounded in life and in acting, no matter what the role or with any scenario. And I love her for that. Thank you.
So when you win an Emmy for YA, who's going to be the first person or people you think?
My mom, hands down.
Mamarazzi.
My mamarazzi.
My mom has done
true.
everything for us in our career. She's driven us to auditions. She's gone so many places. She's taken us to so many acting and singing lessons.
She drove us here. So we got to thank her for everything.
So what advice would you give to young women out there, maybe that are in high school or something like that? What advice would you give them as far as keeping their mind right and dealing with social media and whatever else?
I think just don't listen to what people say. You know, we've experienced a lot of haters online, and it's worse when it comes from a friend's point of view. So even if it's from a friend or a random person, just always stay positive and love yourself first.
That's gold, right?
Gold.
That is gold. Does your
It's
mom
gold.
also help you with that? Just support you in that and encouraging you to stay
Yeah.
positive and self-loving?
Yes. She's the most positive person I know.
So beyond YA, what's next for you two?
Well, we just worked on a movie with Harry Connick Jr. and Katherine Heigl called I Saw a Man with Yellow Eyes. It was a smaller role, but we had so much fun filming in Florida with Madison Eisman and Israel Boussard. I'm sorry I butchered your last name. I cannot pronounce it, but he's so nice. And we're about to start shooting a movie in Vancouver soon. It's a psychological thriller called Repression, so we can't wait to start filming and stuff like that. And of course, YA in the Bay. So it's going to be a very busy couple months for us.
And we're going to be coming out with a new version of our old song On Our Own, so stay tuned for that.
Wow, you guys do it all.
Yes. Tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
Well, you can follow us on all social media platforms at D'Ambrosio Twins.
Amazing. Thanks
Thank
so
you
much,
so
you
much.
guys.
Thank you. All right, good morning, La La Land.
Happy Friday. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land here on Friday Feels. Fantastic day. I feel like excited just for the weekend, and I'm so grateful that you guys joined us today. I know we've been talking a little bit about relationships and situationships and just how to have and experience more love in your life. And so I wonder from each of you if there's one tip that you have for people who want to experience more love, and that can be in any way, what would you recommend?
Be in the vibration of love daily. Literally, if you sit there and you close your eyes and you feel how much love you already have in your life for other people, the more you're vibrating in that vibration of love, the more love is going to come to you. You don't need a partner for that. Start with the love within, and you're going to see more love comes to you.
Absolutely.
Great
Love
advice.
that.
Great advice. Mm-hmm.
Well, my trick is something that actually I have used myself. So I'm letting you in on an insider secret here, if you guys promise not to tell. But one of the best manifestation tricks that I found is that while I'm doing whatever I need to do throughout my day, specifically in terms of love relationships, list the reasons in your mind why you're a catch. Like, I have a great shoe collection. I have, you know, I'm a nice that's specific to me, but that's beside the point. You know, I'm a nice person. I'm kind. People love me. And if you can list the reasons why you are a catch, it doesn't matter if the person's in the picture yet or not, because you will attract them to you.
I love that. Yeah.
Well, I call them realizationships because I think that's where you realize the most about yourself. How do you bring more love into your life? Well, self-love, of course, just connecting into that self, everything that we're already it. We don't need anything on the outside. It's all on the inside. Keep focusing on that.
I would say love yourself first, and then love will come your way. So like kind of what you said.
I would say to always give love, spread positivity. You never know who would need it, and if you affect someone's life like a little bit, then you did your job.
Love that.
Thank you so much for sharing Hashtag Friday Feels with us today. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of today's interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show is streaming on EverTalk TV on Apple TV and Roku.
That's right. We're waking up the world together, guys. It's Friday Feels. Make sure that you love your life and love everyone, and have a beautiful divine day.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.